Hi, I'm Joe Gambino, first year Georgetown law student and a former intern of AEI and Heritage. My question deals.
Plant.
Yeah, exactly. My question deals with Joint Forces Command and the decision to close it. I guess it's a two-part question. One, does it make strategic sense not to have a Joint Forces Command? And two, what are the actual cost savings that we would get, I guess, in personnel and maintenance from closing the facility? Thank you.
Okay. I mean, look, personally, I think it's a good idea to, it never panned out to be what it was intended to be. Secretary Gates, when he announced it, suggested that the Virginia delegation might be happier to see those dollars transferred, like to shipbuilding industries and other aspects of the military that bring other benefits to the people of Virginia. But look, I think it's certainly an efficiency. The risk of shutting down Jiffy Com is pretty minimal. Unfortunately, I think the savings are going to be pretty minimal in the near term, and that's actually the problem with the efficiency program per se, which again, all of us here would say, I hope it works out as well as anticipated and even better. But that's not going to get us out of the hole that Gary described or get us to the level of capabilities that Mackenzie suggested. Whatever waste, fraud, and abuse is out there, which we're all, nobody can defend that, it's not enough to solve the problem that we've got.
I would add a point here, a good point. The three of us up here are often targets of conservatives, but we're big government. We just want to throw money at defense, and that is absolutely not true. I believe in a strong reform agenda. Defense has to do its part, just like everybody else. In a declining economy, defense also has to suck it up and share the pain. There are ways to do a lot of things better in the Department of Defense, and that does not include just cutting modernization programs, willy-nilly, and things that we supposedly don't need or are, quote, Cold War relics, when actually we do need all of them. There are the real money in defense is actually everywhere else. It's not in the weapon systems programs. There frankly aren't any left in modernization to cut, so nowhere else to look there. But there's a legitimate reform agenda that everybody can get on board. It's not a conservative agenda. We've put ideas out there, but it includes things like this overhead efficiency drive. Reducing. I'd argue, look at the civilians in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. I've worked there, so I can say it. It's grown in the last 10 years by 500 people from 2,000 to 2,550 or something in that range. I mean, that I can tell you, having worked there, it's just those types of numbers need to be examined. We all know that the cost of a federal government civilian bureaucrat is very expensive. Who's having that conversation? How can we better staff the civilians in the department, for example? But it includes things like Joint Forces Command and a whole host of other, providing uniformed personnel to joint task forces, to combatant command headquarters, to everything else, all these types of projects. How can we do things better? Can we pay those in uniform better, more smartly, more cash up front, less benefits for those who serve less than 2 tours, not less but different, that sort of thing. Those are the really difficult reforms, and frankly where the real money is at. Performance-based logistics is another. Conservatives can be for a strong defense and for a reform in the defense budget. It's not just about a higher top line. But two things have to be done. When those savings are generated, they deserve to go back into the department if there are shortfalls, and there very clearly are. This is unanimous. Ranges from AEI to Heritage to CSIS to Brookings. Everybody agrees on the dollar amount. Check out one of my papers this summer on that. It's defense budget mismatch, basically. But it's literally unanimous among every ideological, quote,